Hey y'all, welcome back to our channel. We are Gills on Wheels. I am Patty.
Shane.
And today we are, well, first of all, let me just tell you a little bit about us. If you are new here, we've been full-time RVers for almost 6 years now.
UPS.
All right, so back to what I was saying. So we have been full-time RVers for almost 6 years, 5.5 years now. We have been RVers for over 20 years. So today we're just going to talk about, and just like little reminders, like either if you're a brand new RVer, just some little things like, hey, don't forget to do this. You might want to do that. You know, or even if you, Shane was saying, even if maybe you haven't camped in like since last year or last summer, just a few little reminders like, hey, don't forget to do that. Make sure you do this. And anyway, so just keep watching and we'll show you all the things. All right, so the first thing, and I know everyone's like, yeah, we know. But make sure that, okay, so I am a little, I'm a little bit more crazy about it than most people probably because our awning has broken off before. But if you are not outside, well, not if you're not outside, if you're not near your RV, say you go to the pool for the day, maybe you got to run into town real quick for something, the wind and a storm can happen so quick. So we suggest anytime you leave your RV, bring your awning in. Well, I suggest. Or if the wind picks up, if you can feel, when I'm inside and if I can feel the camper shaking because the wind is moving the awning, I always bring it in. That's just one of my things. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to fly off. So what happened to us, we were in Moab, Utah. We had our truck camper. The awning, we had it the side awning of on the truck camper. It was a perfectly fine day. It was sunny out, very nice. And the wind picks up super quick. I mean, like before I could even get to the button to bring it in, the awning had flipped up and was on top of our truck camper. Like it happened so quick. So we had to cut it off, get it down off of there, and we had to carry the awning inside the truck camper. So every time we would move to a different place, we would have to unload the awning onto the ground and then load it back in the truck camper. All this to say, just make sure if you leave the camper and you pay attention to the wind, pay attention to weather, all of that, because your awning can rip off in no time, just a few seconds.
And another quick tip, real quick, about the awning is there are a lot of people that like to stake them down. They'll put a tie strap or whatever and screw something in the ground, and they think that that's going to hold. Well, it will. It won't go back on top of your camper. But what happens is this wind comes through in this fabric, and eventually it will tear that little seam right there that goes into the camper where the little rubber slide is that holds it in there, and that will eventually come out. That's what happened on our Solitude. This side of the piece of fabric started coming out because it was staked down with this thing a lot and we just leave it out, but that wind gets under here and makes like a parachute and it just pulls that out also. So just be aware, even though you've got it staked down, it still can come out the other side. All right, here we go, and this should be a no-brainer to most people, but just a reminder, it's easy to do. Anytime you leave the camper, you need to turn your water off. Anything can happen there. If it builds up too much pressure, something happens at the park, whatever, it could bust a fitting. Probably won't bust your lines, but a fitting can start leaking just out of nowhere. So always turn it off. And if you've got these little deals right here, don't just turn those off. Because I had it before on my black tank. I had it hooked up to my flush, and I just turned this off, and it was still just leaking past there. And got up in the morning, and my whole toilet was full. So don't trust these things either. Turn it off at the spigot. They'll save you a lot of heartache. And even inside, we've got the little alarms. Y'all seen them before probably. Underneath all of our faucets, we have these little, I don't know, alert alarms that tell you if something's leaking. But you're supposed to get a notice on your phone, but it's too late. If you're out at the store and you get your notice on your phone, you'd have to call the campground or somebody to break in your camper or whatever to shut your water off. So or or they could do it at spigot, I guess. But anytime you leave, just remember, shut the water off. All right, another one. This is another should be a no-brainer, but some people don't know. They don't like to dump, so they'll just leave their stuff open. If you're there for a little while, your gray tanks, absolutely. I leave mine open. Hurts nothing. The water just runs right through there. Probably about the day before or 2 days before we're supposed to leave, I'll shut them so I'll have some gray water in the tanks that I can flush my hose out with a little more when I'm done dumping the black. But do not, I recommend you do what you want, but I recommend do not leave your black tank open all the time. If you're at a park, what happens is all your solids go to the bottom and your liquids, they just run out the hose. So you can imagine, you put dirt on dirt on dirt on dirt, it's just going to get, and your tanks are going to be ruined. So take the time, make sure your black tank is closed all the time until you leave. Then you dump them, and then dump your gray, and you'll be just fine. Another thing we like to have, and what you should do always, is if you use a surge, or you need to use a surge protector like this one, or a different style, but you definitely need a surge protector. All these parks are a little different. Sometimes their work campers are just random people, and they really don't know how to put a breaker in or something, so you might get a surge, or you might be missing a leg, or no ground, and this will tell you all that stuff. So what I do when I get to the park, before I hook up, I plug my surge protector in, and without the cable on it, without the hookups, just to make sure this guy right here is running right. When he's white, he's good right there, but if not, it'll tell you a code, and you'll know. But then you shut your breaker back off, hook up to your camper, and then turn it on. You know you're good. We had a friend of ours didn't have a good enough one, I guess maybe, and his whole camper got fried just because his surge protector didn't work. So that can be a big money saver, a lot of heartache saver, everything. So I would recommend absolutely getting a surge protector.
All right, this next one is not necessarily mine to speak on, but I am trying to go back and forth a little bit, so it's not all Shane talking. But this one, for us, this is for us. Some people don't mind it, but for us, and we recommend, do not arrive at a campground at night, especially a campground that you've never been to, or maybe you don't feel comfortable backing into a spot. You're still not very comfortable with it. Definitely don't do it at night. One reason we just don't like getting there at night, because you don't know what kind of trees are hanging over at a campground. You don't know how low they are. You don't know that campsite, how easy it is to get into or out of. So yeah, we just recommend don't arrive at night. I know some people, like we've posted about this before, and people are like, oh, we love driving at night. There's not as much traffic, blah, blah, blah. Which, yeah, that part's great. But still, at the same time, as you're driving down the highway, you've got deer, you've got, where we're from in Texas, hogs, whatever. Anything can run out in front of you, and it's a lot harder to stop whenever you've got a big trailer behind you. Anyway, to us, we just recommend not arriving at night. It's just really hard to back into a spot like I'm in the back trying to tell Shane what to do and have a flashlight I can't even see or whatever. It's just, for us, it's just safer. So that's one of our tips.
All right, another thing, possibly the most important, when you go to buy an RV, the salesman, I don't care if you have Volkswagen, they're going to tell you it can pull you that camper. They're trying to get rid of the camper. They're trying to make their money. They've got to make money too, but they'll say, if you got a 2500 and you get this big old huge camper with a toy hauler and you're toting four-wheelers and golf carts and all that, they'll be like, oh, it's just fine. Maybe. It'll tow it down the road, no doubt. Problem is, it won't stop it very good. You're going to go through sets of brakes, tires. It's not good for your rear end. And if you've got a lot of weight on the rear, your front steering gives up a little bit. You don't have as good a steering in the front. So always want to make sure that whatever tow vehicle you have matches your camper. So the way I did it is I just went on Google, and because I'm not a mathematician, so there's a lot of little things, gross vehicle weight, curb weight, all the stuff. Anyway, you go on Google, and there are calculators. You put in your truck, and it'll tell you, you can put, like I've got a Ram 3500. I put Ram 3500, what the truck weighs, and it'll give you everything, even what you're capable of towing safely. That has to do with, like I said, stopping, steering, everything. You just don't want to get too big for your truck because you're going to end up with a lot of problems.
All right, here is another one that you're like, Patty, come on now, we know that. It seems like it's common sense, but listen, it is not just that it's common sense. Like people, you forget things. Like if you don't have a list, that's another one. If you can make a list of things to, like a check off list for travel day, setting up, tearing down, all of that. I usually keep one on my phone, or either I used to keep it in our cabinet where the slide little buttons were and stuff. This one doesn't have a little cabinet. But anyway, so a list is another one. But my thing is, or this one is, just make sure you don't forget to bring in your handrails, bring in your stairs. If you use an antenna on the top, I know a lot of people, like we stream TV now. We don't use like antennas and stuff, but all RVs still have an antenna as far as I know, and you can like wind it all the way up or whatever. I know even some campgrounds, like as you're leaving, they'll have a sign that says, did you check your antenna? Did you check your steps? Did you check your jacks? Your, whatever it might be. So yeah, just double check, make sure all of your slides are in. We've all seen the videos online where people are driving down the road and their slides are out. Shane and I even saw someone not too long ago, and one of their slides was out as we were going down the road. It was only out like, I don't know, like maybe this much or whatever. So maybe they had an issue with it, which obviously that can happen as well. So anyway, so yeah, have a list so you don't forget. Also, that is why it's very important. Here's another one. To make sure before you pull out of your campsite or wherever you are, to do a walk around. We both do walk around. Shane will do a walk around to lock everything up, and then I always do another walk around to check everything before we pull out. Even so, we've still missed stuff. we were in Alaska and we pulled out, and sure enough, guess what? We forgot to bring our slide in. Luckily, we hadn't got very far. We were still like, I don't know, like maybe like a couple of 100 feet or whatever, and Shane noticed it in his rearview mirror. So always look out your rearview mirrors and double check everything. Keep an eye on stuff. And anytime that we stop at a rest area, a gas station, for lunch or whatever, I still do a walk around. I walk around, and Shane does. We look at the tires. We caught one of our tires was getting kind of bald on the inside, wearing on the inside just a few months ago. So check your tires, check your suspension underneath. Make sure your things are not broken or anything. So yeah, we always do a walk around before we leave and anytime we stop.
All right, another one. Out there in the RV world, camping world, Walmart, basically anywhere you go that has anything to do with RV stuff, there are tons of gadgets, even on Amazon. Gadgets are cool. I like mine. I've got a bunch of them actually, but just try not to get overwhelmed, especially if you're just new buying a camper, maybe your first one or a new one. Some of the gadgets don't work on different types of campers, so you need to make sure you kind of are in it for a little while. Make a little list again, like a checklist or whatever, so you can kind of tell as you go. Just write down, oh, it'd be nice to have this hose reel, or the anything that goes on the hitch. Like I got a little gadget on the front of my fifth wheel hitch that rolls up my cords instead of stuffing them in the back. It just rolls them right on top. It's a magnet. That's pretty cool. But just don't go out and spend all your money, first day and come in, unload all your stuff, and then you've got 100 things in there that you really don't need. There's a bunch of them that are they're fun to have sometimes, but you don't need that stuff. So just take it slow, and if you are new to buying a camper, where we bought ours anyway, our last two actually, they give you a little, I don't know, $50 or $100 gift card to spend in their store, and they've got all this little stuff. It's cool, but with that, I'd buy necessities with that. Water hose, if you don't have, toilet paper, just whatever you have to have every day, and then look out for whatever kind of gadgets or hooks or whatever you want to put on your camper. Look for that later.
All right, so this is kind of controversial in the RV world. Not really controversial, but some people say you have to only use RV toilet paper. Some people say you can use any kind of toilet paper. So we have always used RV toilet paper. It's just what we use. I don't know why. I know that people say that you can use any kind of toilet paper that you want as long as you flush with a lot of water. So that's what we have learned. We've been working with Unique Camping and Marine, and they do lots of like really in-depth tests on stuff, and they say you can use any kind of toilet paper. But if you use any kind of toilet paper, regular toilet paper from the store or whatever, from Walmart or in the regular toilet paper aisle, I've heard to use the ones that say septic safe. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Or they say just make sure you use a lot of water when you flush. We use a lot of water anyways whenever we flush, but we still use RV toilet paper. Not necessarily this brand. We had this one. I can't remember where we got this one from. We really like the other, I forget what it's called now. But anyway, you can get it at Walmart in the camping section. That's the one that we usually buy. So, but you can use whatever you want. That's what we have learned. So we thought we might let you know that.
Oh, Scott.
Oh, Scott toilet paper. That's what it's called. Sorry. Scott is the one that we use because it's softer. This kind is a little bit harder, and we don't like that, but I mean, to each their own. Whatever you like. You might really like this kind. But any kind of toilet paper we've heard or we have learned is fine to use in your camper.
All right. Another one just for peace of mind, whatever you want to call it. When you go get your RV, if you're getting a new one, or if you just don't remember what you measured last time, you need to measure how high it is. Don't go by what anybody tells you. I wouldn't even go with whatever the sticker tells you on the sticker thing they make up when you buy one. I wouldn't trust none of that because that could be from the roof down. They measured when there was nothing else on it. But so the easiest thing to do is find your highest point and measure from the top of the camper to the ground. And then from the top of the camper to your highest thing on your roof, probably usually an air conditioner, could be some kind of antenna or something they were talking about earlier, but just add those two together and then you know how high your camper is. That way if you get down somewhere and like they were doing some construction and well, the only bridge they had to go under was like 12 feet 8 or 12.9, whatever it was. And I already knew I was way taller than that, so I wasn't going to fit. And I was lucky enough there was one exit before you got down in there to the bridge there that I wasn't going to fit under. So just don't go by what anybody else tells you. Get up there, do it yourself. It's just peace of mind that you know exactly. You don't want to get down in there, and be like, well, they told me it was 13.4, whatever it is, and this is 13.6. We should fit. Well, you're not really going to know until you go under there. So unless you get up there and you measure it yourself. It's a little bit of work. Some people don't mind getting up there. Some don't like it. But for peace of mind, you need to do it.
All right. The next thing is on travel days. And so when you're setting up or whenever you're packing up and when you get to your new campsite and you are setting up everything, our thing, Shane and I are always, don't rush. Don't get distracted. This one of our biggest pet peeves is when we're trying to, we're in such a rhythm, like that we know, like this is what I do. Like we have, a system. Shane does this, I do this while he's doing that. He does this while I'm doing that, whatever. We have our own system. We don't rush. And if somebody comes up and starts talking to us or introducing themselves, don't do that. If you're a camper and somebody pulls up beside you, wait until they're totally set up before you start talking to them. Awesome that you want to meet your neighbor. Obviously, that's the best part that we love about camping is meeting people, but wait until they're all the way set up, sitting outside, enjoying a beer or whatever they're doing before you come over and talk to them. Don't try to talk to them while they're backing in. Don't try to bother them while they're backing in. Don't try to say, oh, you should go this way or that way or whatever. Let them do it until you notice that they're really struggling or they ask you for help. Shane and I have seen that happen. People, we see them trying to back in 10 or 12 times or whatever. Let them do it unless they come and ask you, or if you see that they're really, really struggling, you might want to walk over and say, hey, I can help if you need help or whatever. But anyway, the main thing is don't rush. Make sure you stay in your routine and don't let other people come start talking to you. You can even, you know, be polite and say, hey, I would, you know, it's nice to meet you. We'd love to sit and have, you know, by the fire later. You know, you're welcome to come over, but we're packing in, we're unpacking right now, and, you know, you might throw us off a little bit. You know, just be nice and say that or whatever. But yeah, that's the main thing. Don't rush. Make sure you have a little routine, and everything should go smoothly.
All right, one last thing. Another pretty important one is tire pressure. So when I don't check it every time we leave and go and all that, but if we've been sitting a little bit like we have right now, I will check it before we take off, because it's tires. Everybody knows is it gets cold and hot, they lose a little bit of pressure, could gain a little bit. So always check your tire pressure. That's very, very important, because that depends on, you know, how you wear your tire wear. Inside, outside, if it's overflated, it's down the middle, whatever. So make sure you're checking that. Get you a good little tire gauge and put it on there. And I carry a little RVer compressor that just hooks to my battery, and it reaches all the way back here, so I can air it up, you know, whatever, let some air out if I have to, air it up. But you want it to be cold tire pressure. And that doesn't mean, I had a friend one time, well, he's still a friend, but he said he thought cold tire pressure meant you could check tire pressure when it's cold outside. That's not what that means. That means that you haven't been driving it on the highway or something in your tire pressure, because as you roll down the highway, you can start out at 70 pounds, and if you're going down the highway, you know, an hour later, depending on the weather, they could be up to 78 pounds, 80 pounds, whatever, you know, if it's hot. So tire pressure does go up. That's why they tell you cold tire pressures. That's where you're supposed to check it. That means, like right now, this cold tire pressure, it hasn't been moved, and right now you just set it whatever it says. And usually it'll tell you on the tire, but I don't go by the tire. I go by what the factory label says over there, because that's the tire pressure for my axles, you know, for my suspension stuff. So just make sure you check your thing just like you would in your vehicle. There's a little sticker on the other side. It'll tell you the tire pressure. Make sure all your tire pressure is the same. And if you want another little gadget, throw a gadget in there again, is a tire pressure monitoring system. They're really easy to do, and it goes in your truck. It monitors your heat. Of course, if you start losing air, it'll beep. If it gets too hot, it'll beep. Of course, if it blows out, it don't matter if it beeps or not. It's already gone. But they're just little valve stem things that go on their valve stem, and that goes to the monitor in the truck. So it just tells you, you know, constant tire pressure, and you can see if it's going up or down or just the same. It's just another thing. It's saved a few people that I've heard that their tire just started just losing air, so they were able to pull over and stop before they had the blowout. So those can be handy. Don't have to have them, as long as you do good tire maintenance. Check your tread, your wear, and make sure your tire pressure is where it's supposed to be.
All right, that's it for today's episode. We appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you guys, all of you so much that have liked, followed, commented, everything. Your support means the world to us. We really appreciate it. YouTube is still new to us. We've only been doing it for about four months now, I think. So we really appreciate all of you guys stopping and watching. And we hope we helped you today. We hope we either reminded you like, oh shoot, I need to make sure that I do that. Or, you know, maybe you're like, oh, I didn't even know that. You know, whatever it might be. We really hope we helped. There's tons more that we could have shared today. Maybe we'll do another video. Let us know if you want to see more of this kind of videos, or if there's something else that you want us to talk about or share, please let us know that down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you and see what you might be interested in. And I think that's it for today. But don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And
see you out there.